everyone, it's Daphne from Scrap and Create, and I'm working here on Farmhouse, and I'm on page 2. So I'm just getting ready to sit down and get started here. I haven't got my tape on, so you guys are gonna have to bear with me. Doing things a little bit out of order. So it's gonna be a pretty simple page. We've got 2 flaps and a side pocket. So I'm gonna go ahead and sit down. So I went back and forth on whether or not to do a 1/2 inch flange around the 3 sides for the pocket, and I was having a hard time, I don't know, getting everything to line up just perfectly. So I went ahead and decided I'm just going to make a flat pocket, and I'm going to put glue around the 3 edges. Part of the reason I went with that is this is a very wide pocket, so I'm not really concerned about losing a 1/4 inch off either of the sides or the depth of the pocket. Now, if this was, say, for example, a 6 inch wide or tall, I might be a little more concerned about losing some of that space, especially if I'm going to try to put a 4x6 photo in it. But since it's 8 inches tall, we've got plenty of room to work with. So I'm just going to go ahead and adhere it directly to the pocket page. But if you guys want to do your flanges, just make it 1 inch taller and a 1/2 inch wider. So the finished is 4x6. If you want to do your flanges and make it a pocket so that you have the full height and depth, make it 4.5 by 9. So again, I just did 4x8, and I'm going to glue 3 of the 4 sides down. And I'm going to go ahead and leave a little space on the top because I'm going to slide some paper to go slightly behind the pocket. So I'm just going to go, I don't know, maybe a 1/2 inch, leave a 1/2 inch, and then I'll worry about adhering that last 1/2 inch down after I get my designer paper put in. And I'm inset from the edge of the paper about 1/8 of an inch, and I like to do that so that when I lay it down and the glue squishes, it doesn't come running out the side. Okay, there we go. Now, again, this is just gonna go, this is the spine side of page 2. I'm just gonna adhere it to the very edge of the pocket page. Okay, that's in. So that makes for a super easy pocket. But like I said, if you want it to go the full width, you're just gonna add 1 inch to the height and a 1/2 inch to the width. The way I've done it is a 4x8. Okay, you're gonna need 2 flaps. These are 5.5 by 6. And so you're gonna score a 1/2 inch on either end. So you're gonna have a finished 5.5 by 5.5 square. So I don't have my tape, so I'm gonna do that real quick. These are gonna go in with tape, not with glue. And I want to welcome all our new subscribers. Glad you found us here on Scrap and Create. And just a quick reminder that we are working on Farmhouse page 2. Okay, one is going to come from the top down, the other is going to go from the bottom up. I actually did it backwards. It's going to go like so. So I'm going to go ahead. These are going to get adhered to the outside edge of page 2, like so. And I'm not going to use any magnets on this, which is kind of unusual, but what I am going to do is, if I can find a piece of scratch, is, this is a little too tall, is, I know an ephemera card will work. Because this is a pocket, I'm going to slip something inside this pocket, and it's going to overlap on these flaps, and that's what's going to hold everything in place. So we won't be using any magnets on this page. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to burnish the tape, and then we're going to lay it down. These are just going to go to the very corners, like so and so. Again, this is page 2. Okay, do the same thing on the top. There we go. All right, I haven't decided what's going to go on top and what's going to go on the bottom. It doesn't really matter since we're not placing a magnet, and because we know we're going to use some sort of an ephemera card to hold everything in place. So for right now, that is the end of page 2 until we start decorating. So I will be back in just a moment. Hey everyone, it's Daphne from Scrap and Create, and we are working on Farmhouse. This is page 2, and I've got some of the things mapped out and ready to lay down, and other things not so much. So there is a pocket here on page 2, and we're going to start by laying that down. This is from the 12 by 12 collection. And I can tell by the scale of the pattern. And going to put this contrast piece right here at the edge of the pocket so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, now I'm going to flip it over, page 2. Just making sure this is the right side up, and it is. This is the pattern that I've chose for the top or bottom up flap. Okay, as you recall, there's no fasteners, and that's because we're going to use an insert to hold the pocket into the pocket, holding these in place. Yeah, it's inked. Okay, this is also from the 12 by 12 collection pack. This is the signature page. Okay, now we've got to cover the 2 inside flaps, and I think I'm using this pattern, but I have to think about what's going here first. So I had originally planned on using this yellow, so I'm going to take a look and see if I still like that. And I'm going to pull in page 3 just into frame so we can see if we like the way that all flows together, and I do. The other option here would be a strip of this. I don't think it makes that much of a difference, so I think I'm just going to go with the yellow. So on the previous page, or on page 7, I actually put a strip here and then another pattern here. but I like the way the yellow flows across, so my plan is to just use the yellow and tuck it slightly into the pocket. Like so, and I'm just looking to make sure my margins look good and that we see a consistent line from this pattern paper to this one, and I do. I'm going to ink my edges and we're going to glue this down. And it looks like I had done that at least three out of 4 sides. Okay. I think I left my cap off earlier. Been a lot of stop starting today. Okay, now we had left just a tiny bit of the pocket unglued, so we're going to just put a dot of glue in there. On both sides, and I forgot to do this on the previous page. Which page was it? 7. So I'll have to go back and do that. I think I forgot 7. But I'm not sure because I'm doing it out of order, so it's confusing. Okay, so this is up, and here's the patterns that I've chose for here. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm not sure. I'm crazy about it, but I'm also running out of choices. And the reason I say that because we've got a plaid and a gingham, and that's a lot of that pattern. But I don't know what choices I have. I know those are black, red. No. So this would be the other option. What to do? I don't think I've used the gingham anywhere, so kind of going back and forth. No, I haven't, because I have a whole sheet of it left. So I'm going to use the gingham. And although it is kind of busy, what I'm planning to do is come back and do an overlay on these with some of these border strips to help soften it up a little bit. Make it a little more interesting. Whoops. That got away from me. Okay, now I'm going to turn it upside down just to bring these edges closer to me. Okay, I'm going to check it one more time, make sure the orientation works. Yes, it does. Okay, there is what is page 2. Now we are going to want to use a bifold card that we're going to cover with paper to hold everything in place. So let's go through our cards real quick and see what we find. That's a lot of that. One thing I like about this one is even when it's tucked in, you still get the chickens. And I do think I want to go horizontal and not vertical. So that's what I'm choosing. So we need some black cardstock. And I'm going to do the same thing I did on the last page, where I'm going to make it actually wider than this and add a strip so that when I... Sorry about that, I got a phone call. So that when I tuck it in, it still holds it out just a little bit. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to make it the same size. It is, it's going to show the whole image. So there's no reason to really necessarily make it larger. The other one, it was really about getting the image to be out from under the pocket. And that will be required here. Gosh, I don't know what it is with my dog. She's just going crazy. Okay, I've got my bifold here, and it is... It's almost 8 1/4. So you're gonna score at 4 1/8 and fold it in half, and then your ephemera card's gonna go right on top. And I might actually... Nope, it fits perfect. I was gonna say I might need to trim it a little, but it looks good. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to find the mate, and I think I'm going to do the inside if I haven't already. Yeah, here it is. Sorry about the barking. I don't know what to do with that dog. It's the German Shepherd in her. All right. This is actually kind of pretty and makes for a great journaling spot. Okay. Okay, at the moment I'm going to leave it like that, not cover the top. I might come back and cover it depending on what scraps are left over at the end. But we're going to tuck that inside just like so, and that's going to hold our page 2 closed. So that's the end of page 2. I'll be back soon with a couple more pages.